There are hidden signals in your belly shaping what you call destiny. They move like underground currents, carrying memories that did not begin with you. At times they appear as a tightness that empties the air, at others as an urge that cannot wait. There are nights when they hide in the body's silence, and days when they burst into choices you swear you made on your own. They are invisible tides, pushing you toward places you do not recognize, yet that feels strangely familiar, as if there were a secret archive, written in pulses and pressures, in the innermost center of your flesh. It does not speak in words, but in sudden changes of rhythm, temperature, and breath. And every time you ignore it, it carves deeper the path it will force you to follow. Because it is not the surface that commands, it is this silent core that decides when to expand and when to close. And what it holds, you have not yet dared to see. But there are moments when this silent core moves, and everything around it obeys. Your breathing shifts its cadence. The center of your belly contracts or expands without command, and a direction is chosen before you even realize there was a choice. It is there that the invisible writing pulses, guiding your impulses, changing your mood, and deciding what stays or leaves your life. In this writing, the microbiota is part of the hidden choir, an ecosystem that reacts, remembers, and sends messages throughout your entire body. Every sudden shift in energy, every desire that comes from nowhere, every unexplained emptiness is a fragment of this secret dialogue. And while these signals go unread, they continue guiding your story in silence. The journey that now opens is not for the mind to decipher alone. It is for the body to speak and for you to listen in a way you were never taught. You will recognize 7 signs that reveal when this inner center is either diverting or sustaining your creative field. And more than recognizing them, you will feel in your own body how to dissolve the tension they carry. Breathing that soothes, micro movements that release, deep listening that translates. Not as a technique for control, but as a reunion with the harmony that was lost. As each blockage melts away, energy flows again, and the body reclaims its place as an ally of creation. And what today feels like effort, presence, clarity, decision, will become your natural state. What will be delivered here cannot fit into words alone. It will be stored in your physical memory as a path your body will know how to follow whenever needed. Scott remained still, seated at the table, as if the weight of his own torso were anchored in his belly. The cup in front of him has already lost its steam. The warm scent stirs no desire, only a distant echo of appetite. Beneath his hands resting on his lap lies a dense core, throbbing as if guarding a secret it refuses to reveal. He tries to straighten up, but the movement is restrained by an inner tightness that does not yield. Each breath is shallow, interrupted by a slight blockage that lives between the sternum and the navel. The sound of the street drifts in through the open window, yet it feels far away, as though separated by a thick veil of glass. Scott's body is here. His attention is not. His stomach sends signals he cannot decipher. Small waves of heat, followed by a pressure that spreads through the solar plexus. When he finally stands, the floor seems less stable, and his step hesitates, not from explicit pain, but from a strange lack of conviction. On the way to the door, something in his lower belly pulses strongly, as if trying to claim an invisible territory. The reflection in the glass shows an attentive face, yet the eyes betray an old weariness, kept in silence. He leans for a moment against the doorframe, feeling the air trapped just below his ribs. It feels as if his abdomen is holding everything. The unspoken words, the inherited fears, the energy that never found a way out. A subtle tension runs through his hips and the base of his spine, as if the pelvis were connected to this central weight. The coffee, still on the table, seems far too distant to return to his hands, now in his pockets, pressed involuntarily against the lower abdomen, as if searching for contact with something that escapes his touch. The silence in the kitchen is heavy, but not motionless. There is a slow rhythm, almost imperceptible, emerging beneath the skin. Scott does not understand its origin, but he recognizes the pattern. A day that begins with this weight rarely ends up being his own, and, without knowing why, a slight internal shift changes his posture, as if something inside had just awakened. In Hermetic schools, the belly was the vault where life inscribed its decrees before they were born into action. The masters of ancient Kemet saw the solar plexus as an inner sun, capable of radiating creation or drawing in light down to the last thread. In Tao, the lower abdomen was cultivated as a sea of energy, a source that sustains the mind and warms the soul. For all, it was a territory of silent command, where vibration and destiny intertwine. Today, another language confirms this vision. The neuroscience of Nasrid Castellanos reveals that breathing and posture directly alter brain states, as if the body were a keyboard capable of changing the mind's music. The polyvagal theory of Stephen Porges shows that the vagus nerve, passing through the diaphragm, translates what we feel in the belly into signals of safety or alert. Amaran Maya describes the gut-brain axis as a pathway where emotions and perceptions are shaped before they reach consciousness. Research by John Cryan and Ted Dinnan demonstrates that the microbiota influences mood and mental clarity. Actively participating in this invisible writing, Sarah Garfinkel proves that interoceptive accuracy, the ability to feel what the body feels, changes our emotional response. And Felice Jacot shows that dietary choices rewrite emotional chemistry at its very root. What was once simple and right is now also mapped in synapses, neurotransmitters, and neural networks. There is no real separation. Spirit and science are merely different names for the same force that pulses in the belly. When this center opens, creation is not effort, it is an inevitable consequence. Close your eyes as if extinguishing the lamps of a temple before a ceremony. There is no hurry here, only a slow distancing from the noise that comes from outside. Feel the ground supporting your weight and, for a moment, allow gravity to be the only command. The belly, once contained, begins to receive attention as if it were a flame to be rekindled. Bring your breath to the space just below the ribs, letting the air touch that point like warm water filling a cup. With each inhalation, notice a gentle circular expansion, not only forward, but also to the sides and to the back. As you exhale, let the abdomen draw in softly, like a wave returning to the sea, carrying away the excess. Do not force it. Let the air find its path and let the diaphragm descend, opening the way for internal touch. Now, place one hand over the solar plexus and the other below the navel. Feel the space between them as a sacred corridor, an axis connecting the creative force to clarity of perception. As you inhale, imagine this corridor lighting up from bottom to top. As you exhale, the light returns to its origin, warming the belly and loosening any knot that may exist there. This is not just a physical gesture. It is an ancient vibrational code, present in Hermetic and Taoist practices, where air is treated as a messenger between body and spirit. When the diaphragm moves freely, it massages the internal organs, awakens the microbiota to produce signals of well-being, and sends messages of safety through the vagus nerve. This safety, first perceived in the belly, calms the heart and clears the mind. Continue for a few cycles, noticing subtle changes, the heat spreading, the density diminishing, the rhythm finding its order. It is not force that opens this portal, it is presence. Each complete breath is a turning key, dissolving the rigidity that kept the center closed. When you feel ready, release your hands and keep your focus on what has shifted inside. Even without a name, the body will know that something has been released, and that this is only the first gate to open. Remain in the silence that has formed. The body has already responded to the first call, perhaps with an unexpected warmth, a bit more space in your breathing, or a slight change in the weight your belly carries. The form does not matter. What matters is recognizing that something has shifted. The presence that now inhabits you is the soil for the next crossing. Place both hands over the lower abdomen, just above the pubic bone, and let your fingers rest like roots finding the earth. The touch is firm enough to be felt, yet gentle enough not to interrupt the flow. As you inhale, imagine that this point receives the air like a seed receiving water. As you exhale, feel the seed expand in all directions, dissolving the invisible edges that contain it. Now begin an almost imperceptible movement, a minimal pelvic wave, forward and back, connected to the rhythm of your breathing. On the inhale, the hips move slightly forward, as if opening an inner portal. On the exhale, they return, allowing the flow to bring to the surface what was hidden. This gesture is neither dance nor exercise. It is an ancient password, able to access areas of the belly that hold ancestral memories. In Taoist tradition, this space is the lower sea of energy, where unexperienced emotions may crystallize. By mobilizing it gently, you invite the body to release secrets that no longer belong to you. Neuroscience observes that micro-movements in this region stimulate the fascia, release visceral tensions, and awaken the vagus nerve, sending signals of calm and safety throughout the system. But here, what matters is what you feel. Perhaps a pulsing, a change in temperature, an echo rising up the spine. Continue for a few cycles, without hurry. Do not force it. Let the gesture happen as if it were the body itself deciding the amplitude. With each wave, something is reorganized, and even if the mind does not understand, the belly knows. When you stop, keep your hands where they are, and notice the silence that has deepened. It is as if the body had remembered a language it never forgot. Remain exactly where you are and let the body rest in the silence it has built for itself. The waves that began with the first gesture and deepened with the second still reverberate, even if only subtly. Now there is nothing to seek. There is only the invitation to listen to what remains. Do not analyze, do not name it. Allow the breath to become the guiding thread between what has been moved and what will be integrated. Place both hands at the center of your chest, one on top of the other, with your elbows gently relaxed. Let the weight of your hands warm the breastbone and, for a few moments, breathe in such a way that the air first reaches the belly, then rises until it meets the touch of your hands. As you inhale, notice this upward current connecting the lower belly and the heart. As you exhale, feel the reverse flow, the warmth of the heart descending to root itself in the belly. This breathing bridge seals the path, energy rising with clarity and returning with vital force. If you wish, add a minimal circular motion with your hands, clockwise, as if polishing a portal. Each circle reinforces the idea that the body is both altar and oracle, capable of keeping what is essential and releasing what no longer serves. Hermetic traditions speak of this gesture as the closing of the field. Neuroscience recognizes it as a marker of safety, imprinting on the nervous system the message that it is safe to remain present. Continue for a few cycles until you notice the rhythm establishing itself naturally. Do not force the ending. Allow it to happen like the slow extinguishing of a candle. When the gesture ceases, keep your hands where they are and feel the stillness expanding through the chest, the belly, and the back. There is a new internal arrangement, even if you cannot describe it. The ritual ends here, but its reverberation continues. You have crossed portals, dissolved silences, and reconfigured the space where decisions are born. The body now holds this memory, and when needed, it will know the way back. But there is an illusion that repeats itself in silence, believing that understanding is the same as releasing. You have already collected explanations, diagnoses, theories, yet the body continues to respond with the same signals. This happens because the mind is satisfied with the map, but never sets foot in the territory. And while the body remains untouched, the story it carries remains untouched as well. Many methods promise healing, but most forget that the root is not on the surface of the word, but in the vibration that sustains it. You can speak about safety, but if the belly does not feel it, the vagus nerve will continue transmitting alert. You can repeat affirmations, but if the microbiota continues recording patterns of threat, every decision will be contaminated by that memory. The uncomfortable truth is that it is not the mind that opens the portal, it is the body that unlocks it. Touch, movement, conscious breathing, these are what tell the system it is safe to let go. Everything else is just rearranging the furniture inside a locked house. What keeps the blockage alive is not a lack of strength, but a lack of listening. Not mental listening, but the kind done with the skin, with the inner rhythm, with presence. When you let go of the search for answers and enter this field of perception, something that once seemed unchangeable begins to yield. It is in this space that transformation becomes inevitable. And it is from here that we will begin to witness what changes when the body finally allows itself to cross. Scott is once again at the table, but his body no longer carries the same weight. The coffee still waits, yet the act of holding it is not automatic, it is conscious, almost a dialogue with the warmth spreading through his hands. The belly, once closed like stone, now pulses in a rhythm he does not try to control. There is a fuller breath, descending without barriers, filling spaces that once felt forgotten. He does not think about what has changed, but notices the body quieter, as if an old tension had loosened its knot. When he stands, his feet meet the ground with steadiness, and his step does not hesitate. The reflection in the glass returns the same face, but the eyes hold a light that was not there before. It is subtle, almost imperceptible, yet real. The day begins to move, and this time he feels that he is within it. What now pulses in his belly is no longer the same weight that inhabited it at the start. The second brain, that invisible axis between gut and mind, has learned to move with another voice. What were once scattered noises have aligned into living codes, each finding its own way to be expressed. The microbiota, silent and constant, adjusts its inner song like tuning an ancient instrument. The vagus nerve carries the new melody to the solar plexus, and from there it rises, filling the mind with a different kind of presence. It is not a thought-out presence, it is felt as if the entire body were now the oracle of its own life. The 7 signs are no longer enigmas to decipher. They are familiar portals, opening and closing in response to his listening. Each deep breath is a return to the axis. Each firm step is proof that the inner path has been reactivated. The ancients said that whoever governs the belly governs destiny. Today, science confirms that it is in this center that the direction of all that is to come is decided. And now, his center has been touched. As Rumi wrote, "There is a voice that does not use words. Listen, the final image is of a lighthouse lit deep within the body, a light that does not seek to illuminate the whole world, but that guides every path that matters. It does not go out when you walk away. It goes out when you forget to listen. And if you remain attentive, you will discover that true creation begins exactly here, where silence meets vibration. If this journey has touched your second brain and awakened the silent codes stored in your belly, know that this field only grows stronger when it is shared. Every gesture you make, liking, subscribing, activating the bell, sending this video to someone is like spreading the light of this reactivation to other bodies still waiting for it. Here, interaction is not a technique. It is an extension of the ritual. When you take part, the axis that connects your gut to your mind stays alive, also pulsing within the collective body of this community. If you wish to anchor what you have felt, write in the comments, "My second brain releases the codes of my destiny." This phrase is not just a record. It is a vibrational seal that confirms to your body that it remembers the way back. Remember, destiny is not written in the mind. It is shaped in the belly.